Millionaire finds his maid hiding to eat leftovers. What happened next will break your heart late one night. Billionaire businessman Daniel Ross returned home earlier than expected from a charity gala. As he walked through his lavish mansion, he noticed faint noises coming from the kitchen. Curious, he peeked inside and froze. There, under the counter, sat his maid Maria, hurriedly eating leftovers from his dinner plate. She wasn't stealing out of greed, she was crying silently, her hands trembling, eating as if she hadn't had a proper meal in days. Daniel stood in shock. A woman who worked tirelessly to keep his mansion spotless was hiding to eat scraps in his house. That single moment shattered something deep inside him. He had built an empire of gold but had never noticed the hunger and pain of the people around him. What he did next changed not only Maria's life, but his own forever. Maria had been working for Daniel for almost a year. She was quiet, disciplined, and never complained, no matter how long the hours were. Every morning, she arrived before sunrise and left well after dark, cleaning every corner of the mansion Daniel barely lived in. To him, she was just another employee. To her, this job was the only hope of keeping her sick mother alive. Daniel was a millionaire known for his perfectionism, cold, calculating, and always busy. He assumed his staff were paid enough to live comfortably. He never questioned their struggles. But that night, when he saw Maria hiding in the kitchen, everything he believed about fairness crumbled. As he stepped closer, she gasped, dropping the fork in fear. "Sir, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to," she stuttered, tears streaming down her face. "I was just so hungry. I haven't eaten since yesterday." Daniel didn't know how to respond. He'd seen poverty in documentaries, read about hunger in the news, but to see it in his own home, from someone who served him daily, broke something inside him. He told her to stop apologizing and to sit down. For the first time, he saw the exhaustion in her eyes, the hollowness of her cheeks. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked softly. Maria wiped her tears, shaking her head. "Sir, people like me don't tell people like you. We just survive." Those words haunted Daniel all night. The next morning, Daniel called Maria into his office. She stood nervously, expecting to be fired. But instead, he asked her to tell him everything. At first, she refused, ashamed, but then slowly began to open up. Maria had a 7-year-old daughter and an elderly mother. Her husband had died in an accident 3 years earlier, leaving her buried in debt. She worked 2 jobs, Daniel's house during the day and cleaning offices at night. Often, she skipped meals so her child could eat. Daniel listened silently, guilt twisting inside him. He realized he had been blind, too focused on profits, too detached from the world around him. His heart ached as he remembered his own mother, who had once struggled to feed him before his success. That evening, Daniel visited Maria's neighborhood, a crumbling apartment building where children played barefoot and families shared one loaf of bread for dinner. He saw her daughter asleep on a couch with school books beside her, and her mother coughing in the next room. The reality was harsher than he had imagined. Without saying much, Daniel left, but his mind was racing. The billionaire who once cared only for numbers now carried the weight of humanity on his shoulders. That night, he made a promise to change something, starting with Maria. The next morning, Maria arrived at work expecting the worst. Instead, Daniel greeted her with a warm smile. "Maria," he said gently, "you don't work for me anymore, you'll work with me." She blinked. Confused, he explained that he had started a new foundation to support struggling single mothers and domestic workers, with Maria as its first coordinator. He had also arranged for her daughter's full scholarship and her mother's medical care. Maria broke down in tears, unable to believe what was happening. "Sir, why are you doing this for me?" she asked. Daniel looked at her and said, "Because you reminded me what kindness truly means. You made me see what I'd forgotten, that real success isn't about wealth, it's about compassion." Months later, the Maria Hope Foundation became one of the most respected charities in the city. Hundreds of women found jobs, homes, and dignity. Daniel often said, "That night in the kitchen changed my life. I saw a person, not a maid," and every year, on that same date, he would invite Maria and her family to dinner, not as staff, but as honored guests.